All right, we are live on both channels. How's everybody doing? I hope this finds you well today. We've had quite a bit go on well today. Obviously, what we have going on is what we have going on. And I told everybody that I would be making sure that I maintain my schedule no matter what's happening in our political world. That necessarily wasn't a what would I say, a middle finger to the world or a stamp of defiance or anything like that. It was more so just a level of commitment to what we want to provide here on this channel. And I'm just updating this description. I haven't always had the description updated, so something on the management side here on my side that I need to work on. But for today, we got titled Now the Real Work Begins. If you haven't met me before, this is the first time you're jumping on to either our YouTube page or jumping on to our Instagram, or you're taking a stop by our Facebook page and you catching this video, which I don't think I've been posting all of our videos either. So I'll make sure I've got my Facebook up here as a reminder to self. Um, I can post it in there, but nonetheless, my name is Ryan. My business, my work is around lifestyle coaching, inclusive. Primarily, the front side of what you're going to see that we do is in your fitness, your health, your lifestyle, cultivating, creating a lifestyle that's going to support you, your needs, your health needs, your fitness needs, your goals, your aspirations, your work, your vocation. I'm not a coach in the context of life. I'm a coach in the context of lifestyle, and your life or the desired life requires a specific lifestyle in which you need to repeat on a regular basis. That's going to help you get closer to that desired lifestyle. That takes work, and that doesn't happen overnight. It may take several years. It may, you can take certain parts of that and get better at it in the course of days, weeks, months. But to really start moving towards desired lifestyle, more specifically, that takes some serious time. Don't know what it looks like, but ultimately, it requires time. Anything worth having, anything worth being, anything worth doing requires time, energy, and effort, and your resources as well. But primarily time. Um, how you get there, obviously, is I guess that's another story for another day, but it requires time nonetheless. So, in the context of what we're covering today, my wife happened to share with me an article earlier today. It's on the New York Post. I don't particularly have a concern for um, what the resources necessarily, or just like, well, yeah, let's just keep it at that. The resource necessarily, but the idea in this article, I think, is what's most valuable. And this is talking about New Year's resolutions last exactly this long. Very interesting that they would give it an exactly, but I'm grateful for this because what's cool about this is that I'll just share with you the first maybe couple of paragraphs here. I'm going to summarize, but before the first month of the year has even come to an end, and today's the 20th, so we aren't at the end of January, although we're cruising through 2021 quickly. Now, many people might be absolutely excited for what happened today. If you are in great support of the guy who's now in office, there might be many great people who are greatly disappointed because their guy just left. Um, Whatever the case may be, that's not what I'm talking about today. That's not what I'm getting into. More specifically, I'm talking about you and maybe some resolutions you've set, maybe some goals you've brought back to the surface, maybe some things you've said you want to do specifically. Most people have given up on their annual commitment to themselves before the first month of the year has even come to an end. Research conducted by Strava, a social network for athletes, has discovered that January 12th, it was Saturday this year, this was written back in 2018, I believe, is the fateful day of New Year's resolutions. After analyzing more than 31.5 million online global activities last January, Strava was able to pinpoint the date when most people report failing their resolution. Sticking to resolutions is hard, and we all know there's a lot of talk and pressure in January about getting fitter and being healthier, the two primary goals or the two primary subject matters around our goals. If you're in the marketing world, you'll know fitness, health, and wealth are the three primary areas of marketing, and then you can branch down from those. So fitness, health, and wealth. You can branch down from those, all the subcategories of the world, respectively. And that particular person they quoted was um, Gareth Mills from Strava. Again, they were telling this to, I guess, the Independent, other media source. Another key piece of the study, just 8% of people achieved their New Year's goals, while around 80% failed to keep their New Year's resolutions. This was from a U.S. clinical psychologist, Joseph Luciani. Not familiar with him. Again, this is a stat based on this article. Nonetheless, being in the business that I am in currently, I'm well aware and have experienced it for myself, as well as seen many others experience this. That a New Year's resolution, or even very simply put, a commitment to self at the beginning of the year, can quickly die. The effects of coming off a holiday season, getting back into the grind where you've been on break for so long and there are things that need to get done with work, because work only progresses when you're at work, right? Come back to light. You've got to organize your life. You've got to organize maybe other lives around you. You've got to prepare yourself to get back to that work grind. Who knows what's coming? Everybody is getting thrown into the same situation, more or less. You couple that with anything that can happen in life in general, and you set yourself up for an environment that, as I listed here today, now the real work begins. Those environments are what easily put us out of pursuing our commitments to self, even if it's one or two or three items. A lot of times I see coaches and articles and professionals in the world recommend doing 5 or 10 goals for the year, which actually I think that's too much. That can easily put you out. It can be overwhelming. As I've quoted here before, and I don't know if it was Bill Gates or Tony Robbins or someone else, but quoted something to the effect of, we grossly underestimate what we can accomplish in a year, and uh, uh, we grossly overestimate what we can do in a year, and we also far underestimate what we can accomplish in 10 years. That press to do all of these different things in the course of a year can be overestimated, and it can be overwhelming too, very simply put, because you just don't have the capacity, the tools, the systems, the network, the environment to accomplish all those things. Not saying that you aren't capable, you just may not have all the pieces in play to do it. What I'm effectively getting at, though, to get to a point here, is that I'm very well aware of what they're talking about in this article, and I'll go ahead and link it in. It's actually already linked into the description, so you guys will see it if you take a look in the description. Real life begins at the end of your comfort zone, and life really has a nice way of bringing you to your comfort zone very quickly. And that's the thumbnail I pulled for today. In context to now, the real work begins. And that's where having goals in place, having systems, methodologies, processes, however you want to say it, ways in which you can attack the work and do so in bite-sized elements. You probably always hear, what's the best way to eat an elephant? Doing one bite at a time, right? It's a weird analogy. You don't know where it came from. But before you even begin to go at it in the context of work, I heard it said over the weekend, if you're standing right up on that elephant, like you're literally, it's right in your face, you're just going to see whatever portion of the elephant is right in your face, right? But if you step back, you'll begin to see more and more of the elephant. Well, maybe you need to step back. Maybe for some of us, we just need to step back a few paces to get the full scope. Maybe some of us need to step back and build a little tower and then climb up that tower so we can get a better view of everything that's going on. Sometimes you have to kind of get yourself out of the environment a little bit to be able to see what's going on and to become more aware of the situation, to give it a fair evaluation, to bring someone with you to have that fair awareness and evaluation. Maybe you need to take the blinders off that you've put on yourself, or maybe someone else has, somehow helped you put those on. Time to take those off so you can see the situation for what it is, whatever it may be. These are just a few different things that I've seen that have been the demise of people losing their gusto, if you will, in their commitments and coming to this. Again, this article was written, I believe it was 2018 or 19. Let's see, 2018. Well, that's when it was updated. So most likely there's been some versions, but they're saying roughly January 12th. So 12 days in to the new year, losing your resolve, so to speak, for your commitments to self at the beginning of the year. I'll say this: I have seen as short as 1 or 2 days that it's taken for someone to say I quit, and the stats say upwards of 90 days is the longest we can go on pure will until we effectively break down. If you look at the context of exercise in the in-home fitness world, which is now very prevalent, if you're exercising, chances are right now you have been doing so at home. If you happen to be in a part of a country where you have gyms open, or perhaps you have a gym owner who is refusing to bow to the local municipality or regional or state municipalities, and they are staying open regardless. I know of at least one gym that's doing that, and being fined on a regular basis. They've probably been fined well over $1 million at this point, but they choose to stay open. Um, whatever the situation may be for your fitness, let's just keep it in the context of in-home fitness. I know that originally a lot of plans were 90 days. You could see a lot of results in about 12 to 14, let's just say 12 to 14 weeks, which roughly ends up being about 90 days. Several of the programs I've connected to my clients that I've utilized myself in the earlier part of my career when I started back in 2012, what will be now 9 years at the end of this year. Crazy to think next year, 2022, will be a full 10 years that I've been doing this. It was just really cool actually to think about, but it'll be a full decade of experience in what I'm doing. But back when I started, a lot of the exercises, a lot of the programming I did was 90-day chunks. And the research finds that you can get some results in much shorter period of time. But also getting back to that point of the longest you can go in willpower is 90 days. Let's break that up so it's a little easier on the mind. I say all that to say that if you're not identifying what's going to take you out of the game, the best you got is 90 days until you're back to what you were doing the year before. And if you're not aware of the fact that the real work is going to begin. You might be feeling good, you might be feeling in flow, you might be in a space and place where the first few weeks are easy in your new plan and your new commitments, and all of a sudden life hits and it gets challenging. I just want to encourage you that there is light at the tunnel, no matter how hard it gets. The effort and work and pain and sweat and all that equity that you put in does count. Um, Determined on, or I should say, based on how you feel, is really just feelings. No negativity, no positivity. Positivity there. I'm literally repeating the words of what our pastor was talking about this past weekend. Not verbatim per se, but feelings are very simply feelings, and that is a very valuable tool. to come to and understand. Not to say that your feelings don't matter. That's not what I'm saying. But very specifically, feelings are feelings. It gives you an idea of what your emotions are currently. But ultimately, whatever it may be, the work is still required for you to get to a certain place because you're going to live a lifestyle that's ultimately going to get you to another place. Now, it could be a stagnant lifestyle. So if you're finding yourself setting the same goals every year, having the same experience, that means that your lifestyle has been stagnant. If you find yourself going backwards in life, you feel like you take 4 steps forward and 10 steps backward, and that has been on repeat for a number of years, then your lifestyle is in a, for lack of better words, a downward trend. If you feel like you're taking 5 steps forward and 2 steps back on a regular basis, and you're seeing that positive trend, that's where your lifestyle currently is, on a positive trend. Now, each and every one of those scenarios starts here. Time is going to continue. We know time is constant. Second, 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 unless our heart stops beating or until Jesus comes back, if well, if that's your belief or not, whatever it may be, there's going to be a point in time where time ends for each and every one of us, however that plays out. Okay. That time's going to keep going until that clock stops. So as long as we continue to progress, each and every one of those scenarios is going along that same timeline, right? So effectively, we're going to be somewhere on that spectrum. What kind of lifestyle do you want to live so that you can get that result? They're all hard. Staying in the same place, absolutely difficult. Drive your head through a wall. Going negative, oh my gosh, talk about despair, discouragement, talk about depression, talk about illness and challenge, and talk about people taking their lives because of depression and anxiety. That's hard. Working against the grain, going against the mold, going upstream, fighting, pushing, being diligent every single day. Hard, very difficult. There's a reason why only so many people get to step into the success that they do, is because they never stop. Each and every one of those is hard, whatever scenario it may be. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, when these 12 days or so has effectively passed, and we're in 20 at this point, so we're talking about at least what's the article say as far as um, what does it get to? There was a percentage that it gave. Yeah, 80%. We're already past 80% of our current population, if this holds true. 80% of our population has already given up on their health, wealth, or relationships at this time. And there is that much smaller number hanging in there right now. That doesn't feel very nice. That's not a nice stat. But ultimately, I've got 2 things for you, and I'll finish here. One, you've given up on yourself. It's not too late. Don't wait till 2022, because that's just going to be stagnant or downward trend. We know that. Okay, it's downward, stagnant, downward trend. We don't want that. So don't wait till 2022. There is no time like the present. The sooner you start, the sooner you finish, and whatever it is you need to accomplish to make today great for the work that you have set before you. Number 2, we are an ally, a resource, a coach, a mentor, someone in your community now who can assist you, be with you, walk with you in that journey, provide encouragement, provide resources, and provide other people. You don't necessarily have to work with us. Well, we are a well-connected group that we can get you connected with other people who can be that resource, that person to hire, that coach, that service or product supplier, whatever it may be, to assist you along the way. There is infinite amount of uh, resources out there for us. It's insane how much abundance we have and how simple our mindset can take us to lack. It's crazy. The more I think about it, the more I ask myself, why did I allow myself to operate in a mentality of lack when there's abundance all around? I question that I question that often. I look around at all that I have, as much as most of it is useless, And it's like it's just a product of abundance. Scarcity would literally be counting a few stones in some dirt in the middle of a field in the middle of nowhere, wondering where my next drink of water is and when I might eat again. Um, if that is your situation, then you might literally be in a scarcity situation. But I think if we're online, if we're on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, chances are scarcity is not the situation. You have some enough money to afford a phone or a computer or something to watch the scarcity. Most likely isn't the situation, even in the context of if you're borrowing someone else's device or have access to someone else's device that isn't your own, you still have access to something that you wouldn't have in the middle of the field with a few stones in the middle of nowhere, wondering where your next bit of water is and clothing and shelter, etc. Okay, I think you get the point. But I just wanted to encourage you guys with this. Take a look at the article. Drop us some comments. Know that we're available in your network now. We are someone who will be with you all along the way. And just know that you're not alone. I want you to know that without a shadow of doubt that you are not alone. We'll drop here really quick in the chat our Facebook page. Drop us a note. Let us know where you're at. Hope you're having a great start to your 2021. I hope you're in that 20% who's hanging in there, giving the diligent fight, and giving it your best one day at a time. All right, this is Ryan, Coach Ryan with Project Fresh, coming in from the West Coast. We're just a little bit over our usual time, but I hope this was impactful for at least one person watching today. And we will see you again on our next one next Monday. Have a great rest of your week, an excellent and relaxed weekend, and we'll see you next week. Take care.